Hello, welcome back to another Pen Talk. Thank you very much for tuning in and joining me as I explore the amazing, incredible, diverse, interesting wide world of pens. And those that follow my channel will recognize the pen. It's the Jinhao 9016. It was selected by the viewers to be the first pen of the group I got from AliExpress to be reviewed. So the masses have spoken. It's an orange red. It's a nice color I don't have in a pen. We'll compare it to some other colors a little bit later on. We'll put Mr. Crab aside. He's done his job. And as usual, the cap band is labeled properly. And there's a 9016. So you know what model it is. There's a gate at the top of the cap, a gate at the bottom of the barrel, but to me, that's just like a beauty mark and the result of the injection molding process. The cap comes off in 1, 2 3/4 turns. Yep, Jinhao's going for a record. It's trying. And we see a nice two-tone nib. I think it looks like a medium. I'll have to check to see what I ordered. And as we would expect, the pen feels good in the hand. That section's on the short side, but it's pretty girthy. Little flare out at the end. You don't feel the threads. There's not really any real step up, so you can hold it wherever you want. And one expects a design like this to post, and it does. It posts deep, it posts secure. The cap is relatively light, so it doesn't change the balance much at all. So if you love to post your pens, this might be a pen for you. It comes in various colors. Here's some examples I found. The price is certainly great. And I got my AliExpress delivery in less than 2 weeks. They seem to have improved the whole process. During COVID, it was quite long at times. So we're going to look at this pen, its bits and pieces, find a suitable ink, and put that nib through its paces. So stay tuned. So the pen came in this same sturdy plastic sleeve, and it has 9016 Dado series for the label. Interesting, no barcodes or any inventory tracking information. So here are the 3 basic converters that Jinhao is using. This top one is the standard one, which they've used for decades. Then the 9019 had this huge one. And the 9016 is also about twice the size of the original one, but smaller than the 9019. You can see how the end of them is different. They seem to be doing this clear turner for the piston more and more. And here is that famous upscale looking one with the gold tone end there. They all have exactly the same opening, 2.6 millimeters, which is the Jinhao standard. But you're not going to be able to use the larger converters in the older pens because they won't fit into the top of the section. As you can see how much bigger the diameter is there. Really nice what Jinhao has done, considering nobody's really done much like this before, especially a mass marketer like Jinhao. So here's the 9016. It's disassembled as I'm going to do it. This is your standard Jinhao number 6 nib assembly and this larger converter. And you can see it takes the same 2.6, fits very nice and secure. But the difference you have is inside of the section is threaded to let you screw in the converter. Makes for an extremely stable situation. And you got your O-ring there, which has been very common now recently with most pens. Just a injection molded barrel, injection molded cap. Everything's nicely done. Brass screw on the top of the cap. Some legend there for to seal up the section. So as we've noticed from the 9019s, very well-made pen, extremely reasonably priced, with a lot of interesting features. another winner from Jinhao. So here's some Jinhaos I assembled to show the evolution of a model. The 159 was around for many, many years. Heavy pen. Has this emblem on the clip which many people did not like. But the pen had a good following. Then, last year, the X159 came out. Most people consider this to be a substantial improvement. The weight was better. This was heavier. This was more medium weight. The clip became very classic. And the whole design is still that cigar bullet-shaped pen, which has been around for centuries. Then, not too much longer, the 9019 came out, which was again an improvement over the X159. It had the huge converter, number 8 nib, like the X159 had, so that stayed the same. And it really became even more classical with the ball clip. And then, not too much longer after that, the 9016 came out. So for those that felt the 9019 was too big, they made the 9016. Same style clip, same basic design, but just smaller. I'd say about 30-35%, somewhere in that range. And the other interesting thing is, as you progress from, like, say, Model 1, 2, 3 to Model 4, Model 4, the cap takes the most turns to get off, almost 3, where this one's just about 1 1/4. So I find that interesting that Jinhao is not really focused on number of turns to get the cap off like some pen users are. So you may ask, how do they post? And they all post relatively well. The 9016 is definitely the best poster of this bunch. Nice length, fits well. The caps are not heavy on these plastic versions versus the original 159. The cap was heavier, so it changed the balance more. Let's focus a little bit about the sections and nibs. Well, the two Jinhaos in the middle with their number 8 size nibs certainly dwarf the number 6 size nibs on the two extremes. I think the sections on these three are excellent. These two are definitely beefier sections. This section I never was really a fan of. It slopes down quite a bit. All of them have a little bit of a demarcation at the end of the section, so your hand will know where that is. These threads are fine. There's no step up like there is on the original 159. But overall, I think the 9016 might become my most popular pen for me of this group, even though the 9019 with that heartbeat nib is certainly a great writer. All of these newer Jinhaos, I think, are consistently good writers, and most of the stuff I've read on the internet seems to agree. Let's bring in the color wheel to try to look at the colors of these Jinhao pens. I definitely think this is in the orange family, maybe in the yellow-orange. This is definitely in the red-orange family, and this is, I would say, orange-red. So I think they're very well labeled. And the red crab says, I agree. So a quick pen comparison for those that may have difficulty like me, turning dimensions into actual physical size. So we have a Pilot Metropolitan, a Lamy All-Star, and then Jinhao 9016. It certainly slots in the middle. Section is certainly nicer in my hand than the Lamy section. I'm not a fan of that triangular small section. And the Pilot Metropolitan has a tiny section. So that's it for the comparisons. So this medium nib works exactly the way I expected it to work. Very smooth, lays down a nice line of ink, and this J.R. Bond ink I don't think is very wet, but with the glitter and everything else it still has great flow. Looks good. A little bit of shading showing up on this Fabriano paper. I think we have another winner on our hands, folks. So we've reached The conclusion of this video review will give you some dimensions of the pen to put it in perspective. I think one needs to keep in mind this is a pen that cost under $10 US delivered. I think it's a great pen for the price. I still like my 9019s, but occasionally a smaller pen sometimes works better in your hand, and this is definitely slightly smaller, but it would probably be called a large pen by any other comparison. Yeah, too many turns for the cap. Fits nice in the hand. That section is very comfortable, very usable. So let's do a final write-up and call it a day. So it continues to write good. My 9019s stay wet, can be daily writers or once a week. Works well for both. I hope this video finds everyone safe, healthy, and happy, enjoying your pens, enjoying whatever you're doing. I do. So with that, say thank you to everyone. We've reached the end of this video. The viewer's choice video. And we will say bye. Great writer. Works well with this ink.